Most people see a Honda Civic and think of a sensible grocery getter, a first car for a teenager, or something you see parked in a boring suburban driveway. But when you see that iconic red badge, a massive rear wing, and 3 exhaust pipes staring you in the face, you know you're looking at something else entirely. That is the Type R. Right now, we are living in a golden age of performance cars, but everything is changing. Almost every modern sports car is becoming an automatic, all-wheel drive computer on wheels that does the hard work for you. Honda decided to do the exact opposite. They kept the manual transmission, they kept it front-wheel drive, and then they went out and broke almost every track record on the planet. But here is the question nobody really wants to answer. Is this actually the best driver's car you can buy, or is it just a $50,000 Civic with an expensive body kit and a lot of internet hype? Today, we're stripping away the marketing to see what makes the Type R a legend and why it might be the last of its kind. To understand why people lose their minds over this car, we have to look at where it all started. Back in 1997, Honda wasn't trying to build a supercar, they were trying to build a philosophy. The original EK9 Type R wasn't some high-horsepower monster. It only had about 182 horsepower, but it was light, it was raw, and it had a 1.6-liter engine that revved to a screaming 8,200 RPM. It felt like a race car, because underneath the skin, it basically was one. For decades, the Type R was the forbidden fruit of the automotive world. If you lived in the US, you simply couldn't have one. You had to watch from the sidelines as Japan and Europe got the legendary EP3 and the FD2 models. Fans were practically begging Honda to bring the R to global markets, but Honda stayed quiet for years. They were waiting for the perfect moment. But as the years went by, the competition started moving to turbochargers and heavy all-wheel drive systems. People started to worry that the old-school high-revving VTEC formula was dying out because of emissions and the need for more torque. If Honda finally brought the Type R to the world, could they do it without losing the soul of what made it special? The answer came with the global launch of the FK8 and later the FL5. It wasn't just a high-revving toy anymore. It was a 300-plus horsepower monster equipped with a turbocharger. It shattered the Nürburgring record for front-wheel drive cars immediately. Honda took 20 years of waiting and turned it into a global takeover. The red badge wasn't just a tribute to the past, it was a warning to every other car manufacturer. They proved that you didn't need a heavy AWD system to be fast. They proved that a Civic could beat Porsches and BMWs on a technical track. Now, let's talk about the heart of the current beast. Under the hood sits the K20 C1 engine. It's a 2.0-liter turbocharged four-cylinder that pushes out 315 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. If you just look at those numbers on a spec sheet, they look fine. There are modern SUVs and family sedans that have that much power. But here is where the tension builds. All of that power is going strictly to the front wheels. Usually, when you dump over 300 horsepower into the front wheels of a car, the steering wheel tries to rip your thumbs off. This is a phenomenon called torque steer. It makes the car feel unstable, darting left and right like a scared cat the moment you hit the gas. Most manufacturers solve this by adding a heavy all-wheel drive system, which makes the car heavier, more expensive, and less tossable in the corners. Honda refused to get heavy. Instead, they used what I like to call mechanical wizardry. It's officially known as the dual-axis strut front suspension. This system essentially separates the steering and the suspension movements. What that means for you is that you can floor it out of a tight corner and the car stays dead straight. No fighting the wheel, no drama. Just pure mechanical grip. Combined with a limited slip differential that pulls the nose of the car into the apex of a turn, the Type R puts power down better than some rear-wheel drive sports cars. It is a physics-defying secret that makes this car punch way above its weight class.
But a car is more than just an engine. Let's talk about the one thing that makes every car enthusiast smile: the gearbox. In a world where almost every performance car has moved to flappy paddles, Honda is one of the few brands still fighting for the manual transmission. Building a manual is a huge risk for a car company today. It's technically slower in a 0 to 60 sprint than a computer-controlled automatic. It's harder for people to drive in heavy traffic. And if the feel of that shifter isn't absolutely perfect, the enthusiasts will tear the car apart on the internet. If Honda's shifter felt like a rubber stick in a bucket of rocks, the Type R would be a total failure, no matter how fast it was around a track. Instead, Honda went and built what many people call the best manual transmission in any car under $100,000. It's got a weighted aluminum shift knob that feels like a piece of cold precision jewelry in your hand. The throws are short, clicky, and incredibly precise. It feels mechanical, like you're actually moving gears instead of just sliding a plastic lever. They even added an automatic rev matching system that blips the throttle for you when you downshift, making you look like a professional race car driver. It's not just about the speed, it's about that physical click-clack feeling that makes you want to drive just for the sake of driving. The Type R is famous for being a track car. It has a dedicated Plus R mode that stiffens the suspension, sharpens the throttle response, and turns the digital dashboard into a race-inspired display. It's built to live at the absolute limit of grip.
Building a manual is a huge risk for a car company today. It's technically slower in a 0 to 60 sprint than a computer-controlled automatic. It's harder for people to drive in heavy traffic. And if the feel of that shifter isn't absolutely perfect, the enthusiasts will tear the car apart on the internet. If Honda's shifter felt like a rubber stick in a bucket of rocks, the Type R would be a total failure, no matter how fast it was around a track. Instead, Honda went and built what many people call the best manual transmission in any car under $100,000. It's got a weighted aluminum shift knob that feels like a piece of cold precision jewelry in your hand. The throws are short, clicky, and incredibly precise. It feels mechanical, like you're actually moving gears instead of just sliding a plastic lever. They even added an automatic rev matching system that blips the throttle for you when you downshift, making you look like a professional race car driver. It's not just about the speed, it's about that physical click-clack feeling that makes you want to drive just for the sake of driving. The Type R is famous for being a track car. It has a dedicated Plus R mode that stiffens the suspension, sharpens the throttle response, and turns the digital dashboard into a race-inspired display. It's built to live at the absolute limit of grip. But here's the problem. Most people don't live at a racetrack. Most people live in cities with potholes, speed bumps, and stop-and-go traffic. Previous generations of the Type R were criticized for being too much. They were too loud, the ride was too stiff, and the styling was so aggressive that it looked like it belonged in a Michael Bay movie. People wanted the performance, but they didn't want to need a chiropractor after every 20-minute drive to work. With the newest generation, Honda finally matured the car. It's longer, wider, and looks much more sophisticated. They added a comfort mode that actually works. It softens the dampers and quiets the exhaust, making it feel remarkably like a standard Civic. You can actually take your kids to school in this thing, go grocery shopping because it has a massive hatch, and then hit the track on the weekend. It is the ultimate Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde car. You get a record-breaking lap time, but you also get Apple CarPlay, a great sound system, and enough legroom for your friends. It's the track car that doesn't punish you for owning it. Of course, the Type R isn't alone. It's got some serious rivals that want its crown. You've got the Volkswagen Golf R, which is faster in a straight line, and the Toyota GR Corolla, which is a rowdy, rally-inspired beast.
The Golf R is definitely more comfortable for a daily driver, and the GR Corolla is arguably more fun if you live somewhere with dirt roads or snow. Plus, the Type R has one massive hurdle: the price. Because this car is so rare, many dealerships are asking for $10,000 or $20,000 over the sticker price. At $45,000, the Type R is a bargain, but at $65,000, you're starting to look at Porsches. It puts the Type R in a weird spot. Is it truly worth the hype tax? But here is the truth when you get behind the wheel. The Golf R can sometimes feel like a very fast computer. It's effective, but a bit clinical. The GR Corolla feels like a wild toy, but it lacks the interior refinement. The Type R feels like a precision tool. Even with the competition closing in, there is something about the way a Honda Type R communicates with the driver that nothing else can quite replicate. It's the feedback through the steering wheel, the way the heavily bolstered red seats hug you, and that legendary reliability. It feels special every time you sit in it.
At the end of the day, the Honda Civic Type R is a love letter to the act of driving. In a world that is moving toward electric motors and autonomous driving, it's a reminder that we don't need 1,000 horsepower or complex tech to have a soul-stirring experience. We just need a great chassis, a legendary engine, and 3 pedals under our feet. It represents the peak of what a front-wheel drive car can be. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the king of FWD, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. If you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. And I want to hear from you in the comments. If you had the money today, are you taking the Type R, the GR Corolla, or the Golf R? Let me know your pick down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.